Batman vs. Superman is finally out after being awaited by so many people for 3 years ever since it was announced by Zack Snyder at Comic-Con. And what this movie's about, it takes place a couple years after the events of Man of Steel. For yes, Superman did save the world from Zod, but he killed a lot of people by destroying a bunch of buildings in Metropolis in the process, so a lot of people are divided. A lot of people are like, oh, thank you, Superman, you're our hero. Then there are people saying, dude, what the heck? You killed, like, my family. You killed my best friend. What's wrong with you? One of those people being Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, who's a much older Bruce Wayne. You can tell that he's seen some stuff in his past. So when one of his buildings get destroyed and some people he cared about in that building get killed, he decides to put on the costume once again and teach Superman what's what, while in the background, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is planning a villainous scheme of villainy because he's a bad guy and he's wacky. So I was really looking forward to this film ever since it was announced, actually. I liked Man of Steel when it first came out, so when I heard that they were going to make a Batman vs. Superman movie, I lost it. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this movie. Now, a lot of people have praised it for its trailers, except for the spoilery one, but it's also been surrounded by controversial casting like Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, lots of stuff surrounding this film. And of course, the Rotten Tomatoes reviews really aren't helping this movie at the moment, but I went in with an open mind, going in thinking, okay, this is probably going to be different for everyone, because that's how it was for Man of Steel. There wasn't really a big consensus on what Man of Steel was, because there are so many people that were divided on it, and it's probably going to be the same thing with this movie, because it already is. The user score and the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes are completely different, which is really shocking. But for me, personally, I enjoyed this film. I do think that it could have been better. It's definitely not flawless, I don't think. But I think it is a really good movie. So let's talk about some of the pros. One of them being Ben Affleck as Batman. Anyone who doubted him, you're gonna be eating your words, because he was so freaking amazing in this film. And honestly, he might be one of the best versions of Batman we've had, up there with Christian Bale, to be honest. I thought Ben Affleck killed it in the role, especially one action scene, and if you saw the last trailer, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. That moment in particular, badass. I even really like Ben Affleck playing Bruce Wayne. That's what everyone was really sure of, that Ben Affleck would play a good Bruce Wayne. They weren't so sure about the Batman part. So it comes to no surprise that he was a good Bruce Wayne. I even liked Bruce Wayne's interactions with Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons. He was really good as Alfred in this movie. I still think Michael Caine is the best Alfred we'll ever have, because you remember that scene in The Dark Knight Rises where he breaks down like twice? Like that hit it home for me. Michael Caine, you are wonderful. But Jeremy Irons does play a good Alfred, and I think he and Bruce Wayne, you can really feel that they've had a big relationship in the past few years, and I really enjoyed him as Alfred. I still enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman. I still think he is very good. I don't think he's better than Christopher Reeve. Obviously, no one is going to be better than Christopher Reeve, I think. But he doesn't diminish the Superman role. I think he does a good job playing Superman, and I enjoyed him in this movie, and I especially enjoyed when Batman and Superman clashed. But at first, when these two just meet each other, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, I really enjoyed their dialogue back and forth with each other. But then when they put on the costumes for the big fight, oh my gosh, it was great. And just the action scenes in general are astounding. Zack Snyder definitely knows how to direct action, and he creates good visual effects. This movie is visually really good. There's a lot of CGI in this movie, but it's not bad CGI. It looks wonderful, and the action scenes are honestly so incredible. Here's where we get to the two controversial ones, the big ones. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she's briefly in the movie, not a whole lot, but I really liked her. I thought she was really good. I'm honestly looking forward to that Wonder Woman movie now next year, because I think Gal Gadot actually did very good playing this character. She didn't ruin it at all like some people thought. I was a little interested because I'd only seen her in Fast and Furious, and I didn't know why they picked her to be Wonder Woman, but I thought she was pretty good. However, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, if you thought he seemed too over the top and quirky in the trailers, then yeah, you're not going to be blown away. There's not really a big moment where he actually like stops all the quirkiness and actually acts like a menacing villain. He's always quirky. He's always fidgeting. Like he's just oh well. That's pretty much him throughout the majority of this film, and it honestly annoyed me at parts. Jesse Eisenberg was definitely the weakest link as far as acting goes. There was one really good scene involving Lex Luthor, but the thing is, Jesse Eisenberg wasn't in it. Lex Luthor was involved with the scene, but Jesse Eisenberg wasn't in it. So they had a really cool character moment there, but then you have the actor playing him acting over the top and goofy and just really quirky, and it didn't work for me. So I really did enjoy those aspects of the movie. Whenever it was Batman versus Superman, I enjoyed those aspects. I really liked the whole political debate with Superman. Is he good? Do we actually need a Superman? I really enjoyed like the first hour or 45 minutes, however long it was, when they're going back to the events of Man of Steel and they're showing Bruce Wayne's perspective. I really enjoyed the whole politics behind Superman. I actually really did enjoy that part. There are some subplots that I didn't really enjoy, and here's where we're going to go into the cons. This movie is bloated with so much stuff. Its original cut was around 3 hours, and that's going to be on the Blu-ray, and it's going to be rated R. Isn't that swell? And it was dwindled down to 2.5 hours, so this movie is dense, filled with so much stuff. A lot of it is exposition and setup for the Justice League movie that's happening next year, especially some dream sequences that looked cool, but they didn't really fit in this movie. It honestly just took me out of it, and I was like, what the heck is going on in this dream sequence? Also, there's just an obvious, blatant scene that's just trying to set up the Justice League, and as soon as you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And honestly, it could have been cool, but it really wasn't, because this is a Batman versus Superman movie. The main focus for the entire time should be Batman versus Superman, and the focus is on that at times. They also focus on the Justice League setup. Another thing that's going on with this movie that I didn't really enjoy, Amy Adams is investigating a case, and it just didn't work for me. I think Amy Adams was fine in this movie. I think her chemistry with Henry Cavill is okay, like in Man of Steel. Their relationship was passable, and in this movie also just passable. But honestly, I really did not see a purpose for Lois Lane in this movie. Just she did something that propelled the plot along that anyone could have done. I honestly didn't really feel the need for her to be here. And oh yeah, the shoehorned villain of Doomsday. If you saw that spoilerific trailer, you already knew that he was going to be in it. Pretty much the whole internet exploded when they did it, so there's no way you hid from it. There's no way you didn't know, because Doomsday was literally like on my Twitter feed when I was scrolling through, like Doomsday, 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 Doomsday. I don't think I'm spoiling anything when I say that Doomsday does show up near the last act of the movie, and he is shoehorned in there. He really is a shoehorn villain. People saying, oh, but he's gonna evolve. Yeah, he evolves into what we saw in the trailer. Oh, he's gonna talk. The voice actor who did Sham Syndulla in the Clone Wars and Rebels is gonna be voicing him. He did not have a voice. He was just a giant troll, like I thought he was. So yeah, Zack Snyder is a liar. He also lied that there's a lot more surprises. Not really. If you saw that spoilerific trailer, then you kinda already know where the movie's gonna go, except for one more surprise. That isn't really a surprise because they kinda go back on that surprise during the last 5 seconds of the movie, and that's another issue. It may seem small to you, maybe it just seems like a nitpick, but it really isn't, because the thing I'm talking about, I'm not gonna spoil it obviously, but it's a big leap. It's a big, interesting choice. Honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, they're not doing that, and then they were playing it off, and I was like, oh, this is actually happening. Oh, okay. Then the last 5 seconds happened, and they kind of go back on it, and I was like, oh, well, okay. And honestly, this movie does not need to be 2.5 hours long. They could have cut out some of the subplots. This movie should have just been Batman versus Superman, the politics of the people against Superman. Do we need a Superman? That's interesting. Batman fighting Superman because Batman doesn't like Superman. He doesn't trust him because he's an alien. He destroyed his building and killed some of his friends. That's interesting. They force in Lex Luthor and Amy Adams tracking down a case and stuff, and Doomsday at the last second, and Justice League setup, that it just doesn't feel natural. It feels really bloated, and it just felt jumbled. So there you go, guys. I enjoyed the majority of this film, but there's a lot of things weighing it down from being absolutely perfect. I wanted this film to be amazing, and it was good, but it could have been a lot better. So I'm gonna give Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice a B-. I enjoyed Ben Affleck. I enjoyed Superman. I enjoyed the action scenes. The visuals are astounding and stuff. But I think if they had just mainly focused on Batman vs. Superman, the people versus Superman, then it would have been a way better film. I honestly, as much as I think Zack Snyder's a great visual director, I honestly don't think he was the right man for this. I don't think he should have come back to make this film. Great job with Man of Steel. Even though that's not perfect, good job on it, but I don't think he should have come back, and I don't think he should be making Justice League, but he is. So, here we go. But if you saw Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, leave in the comments below of what you thought of it. And as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.